Breaking news! The Pittsburgh Steelers may be about to change their offensive identity in a way that is sure to spark debate in the NFL and raise eyebrows among their own fans. At the center of this potential transformation is a player some might call underrated, others might call overrated. But make no mistake, this change could reshape the way Pittsburgh attacks defenses in 2025. I'll give you all the details in a moment, but first make sure you hit that like button if you believe the Steelers deserve to make it to the next Super Bowl. Man, I really want to see our black and gold team there, but I also know that it takes a lot of work. Today I want to talk about something that has left a lot of people wondering. Let's talk about Jonnu Smith. Yes, the Pro Bowl tight end who just had his best season with the Miami Dolphins is now the center of trade rumors linking him to the Pittsburgh Steelers. According to a report from ESPN's Adam Schefter, the Steelers and Dolphins have been in discussions about trading Smith, who has openly expressed a desire to re-sign him to his current $4.8 million contract. Miami, wary of offering him a new deal, is exploring trade options, and Pittsburgh may be the most serious suitor. Now, why would the Steelers, already invested in tight end Pat Freiermuth, consider adding another high-level receiving tight end? Enter new offensive coordinator Arthur Smith. Smith's affection for Jonnu Smith is well documented. He coached him in Tennessee and Atlanta, and the chemistry between the two has always produced solid results. In fact, in 2023, Jonnu Smith outplayed Kyle Pitts in Atlanta's offense under Smith's playmaking. That's no small feat. Jonnu Smith's 2023 numbers were impressive. 50 receptions, 582 yards, and 3 touchdowns. But it's his 2024 campaign with Miami that really put him on the radar. 88 catches, 884 yards, and 8 touchdowns. All of those figures are franchise records for a tight end in Dolphins history, culminating in Smith's first Pro Bowl appearance. If Pittsburgh lands him, it's not just about adding another tight end, it's about doubling down on a new offensive identity that emphasizes versatility and unpredictability. Arthur Smith's fondness for 12 and 13 personnel, 2 or 3 tight end formations, could be the foundation of a bruising, misdirection-heavy offense that keeps defenses guessing. Pat Freiermuth is the reliable receiving threat. Darnell Washington is the mauler in the run game. Add Jonnu Smith to the mix, and suddenly the Steelers have 2 legitimate pass-catching threats at tight end, who can also support the ground game with their size and athleticism. The concern, of course, is redundancy and cap space. With Freiermuth already under a solid contract, does it make sense to commit more money to another tight end instead of finding a true WR2? That's a fair question, but Pittsburgh might be thinking differently. Instead of forcing a square peg into a round hole by chasing a traditional wide receiver, why not embrace what they already have? A physical offensive line, 2 solid tight ends, and a coordinator who knows how to maximize big-bodied skill players. It's unconventional, but it might just be genius. There's also speculation about what it would take to acquire Smith. A 5th-round pick has been floated as the potential trade price. Given Smith's production and chemistry with Arthur Smith, that might be a bargain. But any deal would likely need to include a new contract for Smith, one that acknowledges his Pro Bowl status and 2024 production, but fits within the Steelers' financial strategy. While the Jonnu Smith rumor is hot, it's not the only major headline swirling around the Steelers. TJ Watt's contract situation is also heating up. His brother JJ Watt has publicly hinted that the team might have missed the boat on locking up TJ early, especially now that Myles Garrett has reset the edge rusher market at $40 million per year. TJ, arguably the most impactful defensive player in football, might command a similar figure if the Steelers want to extend him this offseason, and if they delay, that number could climb even higher.
This kind of high-stakes financial planning is where the Steelers front office needs to be sharp. They've built a reputation for loyalty and player development, but these situations test that philosophy. Do they pay big to retain their star, or risk tension and possible holdouts? And speaking of pressure and development, early OTA takeaways show rookie quarterback Will Howard is off to a rocky start. Howard admitted to having a rough first day, struggling with timing and footwork. While some improvement was noted in the following sessions, the fact remains, if you're not looking sharp in OTAs, which are designed to help players look good, it raises valid concerns. Howard may need significant time before he's ready to contribute meaningfully in an NFL game. In contrast, linebacker Cole Holcomb is reportedly looking excellent in his return from injury, and defensive lineman Isaiah Loudermilk is drawing praise early in workouts. These developments are encouraging, especially as the Steelers look to reestablish a tough, fast defense under new DB coach Gerald Alexander, whose energy and detail-oriented coaching style are already making waves in the secondary. But all of this brings us back to the main question of the day. If the Steelers do pull the trigger on a trade for Jonnu Smith, Is it a brilliant move to embrace Arthur Smith's offensive philosophy, or a puzzling gamble that ignores more pressing needs like wide receiver? So now I turn to you, Steelers Nation. What do you think about potentially trading for Jonnu Smith? Let me know in the comments. Is this the right move for the Steelers offense? Should Pittsburgh make the trade and build a powerhouse tight end duo? Or is this just a flashy distraction from deeper issues on the offensive side of the ball? That's where opinions across Steelers Nation may begin to clash, and understandably so. Let's not forget, wide receiver remains a glaring hole. George Pickens is the undisputed WR1, but behind him, the depth chart lacks a proven, consistent second option. Calvin Austin III has yet to break out, and Van Jefferson has been underwhelming throughout his career. So, while the idea of a dual tight end threat is intriguing, many fans are questioning why the front office isn't aggressively targeting wide receiver upgrades instead. Arthur Smith's offensive philosophy may very well be a workaround to this issue. Rather than desperately chasing an uncertain wideout in a thin market, the Steelers may be leaning into what they already have: strong tight ends, a run-heavy identity, and a quarterback room that's still in transition. With Russell Wilson and Justin Fields in the fold, Pittsburgh appears committed to an offense rooted in control, ball security, and physicality. Jonnu Smith fits that vision perfectly. He's not just a tight end, he's a yards-after-catch machine, a mismatch nightmare in the red zone, and someone who has thrived under Arthur Smith's play calling in 2 different NFL cities. But what happens if the Steelers do pull the trigger on this trade? The offensive identity of this team could fundamentally change overnight. Imagine lining up in 12 personnel with Pat Freiermuth and Jonnu Smith, Najee Harris in the backfield, and Pickens split wide. That formation gives you the versatility to run power football or hit teams with play-action strikes. And when you sprinkle in Darnell Washington in a 13 set, suddenly defenses are forced into uncomfortable matchups they're not built to handle. There's also the chemistry angle. Smith already knows Arthur Smith's system inside and out. Bringing him in would not only boost the playbook but also help accelerate the installation of a new offensive scheme. That's something a young quarterback room, and even veterans like Wilson, can benefit from greatly. Having a player who knows the timing, spacing, and rhythm of Arthur Smith's offense can serve as a valuable bridge between the coaching staff and players on the field. Still, the financial side cannot be ignored. Smith wants a new deal, and if the Steelers give up draft capital to acquire him, they'll likely have to meet that demand. Can they do that while also preparing to pay TJ potentially $40 million a year? That's where things get complicated. The Steelers are not known for wild spending sprees, and their front office typically maintains a conservative cap strategy. Balancing Jonnu's potential contract, Watt's mega extension, and future decisions on players like George Pickens and Najee Harris will test the team's fiscal discipline. Let's also consider the optics. Trading for Jonnu Smith could send a signal to the locker room and the league that Pittsburgh is going all in on Arthur Smith's vision. That's a bold move considering his recent track record with Atlanta was met with mixed results. But we want to know your thoughts. If you were in Omar Khan's shoes, would you pull the trigger on the Jonnu Smith trade? Would you be comfortable investing in a tight end-centric offense led by Arthur Smith? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stick around. There's another video on your screen right now that dives deeper into how Russell Wilson is adjusting to life in Pittsburgh. Click that and we'll see you there.